Hi, Arcfieldweather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, June 24th. I thought we'd take a kind of a look at the big picture this morning with first taking a look at some Arctic information, including Greenland, specifically with respect to the temperatures and the temperature pattern this year going into the summer months and snowfall over the next 10 days or so across Greenland. Then we'll take a look at the tropics and then finally take a look at some forecast maps for the continental U.S. Let's start off here with Arctic temperatures as we progress through the beginning part of the summer season. Just hit the summer solstice in the last few days, June 21st. Meteorological summer is really thought to be June, July, and August, the warmest 3 months of the year. So from June 1st on through the end of August is considered to be meteorological summer. Regardless, what I wanted to point out here is that temperatures in the Arctic region are right around normal. This has been the case for the past couple of decades across the Arctic, where it's quite a bit warmer than normal during the cold, dry seasons, the first several months of the year and the last several months of the year. But during that all-important melting season or potential melting season of the summer, temperatures have been right around normal. What we're looking at here is from the Danish Meteorological Institute, and I quite frequently post about the Arctic temperatures and the Arctic sea ice showing a lot of resiliency over the last several years. Just do a search on Arctic temperatures and Arcfield Weather, and you'll find my most recent posting on this. But here we have in January and February and March above normal temperatures. The orange here represents the actual temperatures, the blue, the climatological temperatures. And again, during the cold months in the Arctic, for the last couple of decades, it's been generally above normal. That is a sign of increased water vapor, which tends to have a bigger impact on temperatures when it's colder and drier. Less of an impact in the tropics, less of an impact in the summer season in the Arctic. And this is rather typical in recent years, where while it's above normal during the cold months, temperatures have been getting very close to normal and remaining very close to normal during the summer season. And here's the summer season right here, June, July, and August. And you can expect these temperatures to probably track something like this over the next few months. And this is the freezing line right here. 0 degrees Celsius is the freezing line. So when temperatures remain nearly normal across the Arctic, not too far above the freezing line, you're not going to get Arctic sea ice to completely go away in the summer season. That's some models maybe have been predicting that's just not going to happen as long as this pattern continues. And again, it's been like this each and every year going back at least to the beginning of this century, with maybe above normal conditions during the cold months, but normal during the summer season. It looks like, let me clear the deck here, it looks like we're on the way to that same kind of a pattern. Really became much closer to normal back in the springtime here in May and June, and again now we're just moving into the latter part of June, right at the normal line here across the Arctic. Now, in terms of snowfall, let's take a look here at the next 10 days. This is from last night's 0Z run of the GFS, the conventional version of the GFS. And look at Greenland right here over the next 10 days. It's portions of northern Canada getting some snow. In Greenland, some places will get rather significant snow over the next 10 days. So again, nearly normal temperatures right now throughout the Arctic region. Let's say 70, 75 degrees north and above to the pole, and a decent amount of snowfall in places like Greenland over the next 10 days or so. It's been interesting with respect to temperatures over Canada over the last several weeks. Much of Canada has actually been well below normal temperatures, has experienced well below normal temperatures over the last several weeks, especially the western part of Canada, right in this region right here. Quite a chilly past few weeks relative to normal across that part of Canada. So again, over the next 10 days, some significant snowfall portions of Greenland. It's something we like to monitor this time of the year, and see how all this evolves over the next several months as we lead into the winter season across the northern hemisphere. Well, let's shift gears here, going from the Arctic to the tropics. And it's actually been quite quiet across the globe in the northern hemisphere, let's say, during the month of June. This is the actual current activity across the northern hemisphere. Only a little bit of a wave right here in the eastern part of Mexico that continues to move west. It will not develop. There may be another tropical system in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico over the next several days, but for now, this is the only activity going on in the northern hemisphere. And this has no chance of development as it continues to push over land over the next day or two, but actually quite a slow start to the Atlantic Basin tropical season. But really, the newsworthy event is across the Pacific Ocean here. We've had a very, very quiet time across the Pacific Ocean. That tends to ramp up sooner than the Atlantic Basin, and it's just been quiet across the Pacific Ocean here throughout the month of June. In fact, if it goes into the early part of July, still on the quiet side, that could be one of the slowest starts ever to the Pacific Ocean with respect to tropical activity. The Pacific Ocean has far more tropical activity than any other ocean. It's by far the biggest ocean across the world, so we certainly like to monitor the situation across the Pacific Ocean. Now, that previous chart came from Wisconsin's website. Just do a search on CIMSS University of Wisconsin. Go to their tropical page. That's that particular map showing very little, if any, activity across the northern hemisphere. Again, comes from the University of Wisconsin website. This particular table comes from Colorado State University. And I always like to look at accumulated cyclone energy. This is probably the best way to monitor tropical activity across the northern hemisphere. You can count the number of storms, but that's one way. But a more accurate way, I believe, is using this, what we call the ACE, the accumulated cyclone energy, because it takes into consideration not only the number of storms, but the magnitude and the duration of the storms. We've had a lot of storms in the past couple of decades that have been named tropical systems that might not have been 50 years ago because of no satellite data to speak of back then. Satellites really came into vogue in the 60s and then 70s, and so by using the number of named storms, that could be a little bit deceiving. This is a better, I believe, a more accurate way to determine tropical activity. Again, it incorporates the magnitude and duration, not only the number of storms. We'll take a look at what's going on. Let me clear the page here. Look at what's going on right now. First of all, the bottom line here across the northern hemisphere, below normal ACE, the parenthesis value shows the typical or climatological, the average number as of this particular time of the month of June, and we're far below normal across the hemisphere here. And really, in every area, we've had Alberto now in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. That was the first named tropical system of the season here, but still a little bit below normal. Certainly off to a slower start in the Atlantic Basin than we've been much of the last 10 years or so. But take a look at the Pacific Ocean. Here we have the Northeast Pacific and the Northwest Pacific. Zero so far in terms of ACE across the Northeastern Pacific. That is certainly not normal for this stage of June, and well below normal also across the northwestern part of the Pacific Ocean. Indian Ocean also quieter than normal for this time of the year. So all in all, across the entire northern hemisphere, below normal for the third week of June with respect to tropical activity. Now, let me finish off the tropical talk here by saying that I do expect an above normal season in the Atlantic Basin. The combination of a developing La Nina in the tropical Pacific and warmer than normal temperatures across much of the tropical Atlantic should lead to an above average season. I'm not one of those that have predicted a historically active season in the Atlantic Basin. I think there'll be at least one limiting factor will be influxes on an occasional basis of dry air from the Sahara Desert region of Africa westward into the tropical portion of the Atlantic Ocean. So there are some forecasts out there for the most storms ever in a tropical season. I'm not one of those, and I hope I'm right on this. And I do expect an above normal season, but not the worst season of all time, as some are saying out there during the past couple of months. So we'll see what evolves over the next few weeks. It certainly should start to ramp up again to above normal levels for the 2024 tropical season. Well, let's now take a look at the surface forecast maps using the 0Z run of the GFS. We had some scattered, strong thunderstorms last night in the Mid-Atlantic region. Not everybody got hit, but those that did get hit, in some cases, had some torrential rainfall, all associated with a cool frontal system that was pushed off shore this morning, a much more comfortable air mass into the Mid-Atlantic region today with a gusty northwest wind and much, much lower humidity than we experienced during the past couple of days. This is the morning forecast map, and here is that frontal system as of early this morning, again pushing off to the south and east in a gusty northwest flow on its backside and much, much more comfortable conditions here. Now we'll move forward here. It remains quite nice tonight and tomorrow in the Mid-Atlantic region, and then another frontal system gets on the scene here. Here we go by Tuesday, that front showing up over the Great Lakes, and then into the day on Wednesday, start to see an impact here in the form of afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday in much of the Mid-Atlantic region. Some of these can become strong to severe right here. Really, that extends all the way back down into the Tennessee Valley here. Any one of these particular thunderstorms later Wednesday night can reach strong to severe levels. It also turns quite hot ahead of this frontal system. On Wednesday, probably highs in the middle 90s. Places like D.C., maybe the lower 90s. In Philadelphia, New York City, just ahead of that cool frontal system. Again, that's the next shot of some strong thunderstorms. Now, let's push forward here. And that front does move offshore by Thursday morning. It looks like kind of a repeat performance on Thursday with compared similar to today, with kind of a gusty northwest wind, lowering humidity values on the heels of the midweek frontal passage right here. That continues to move offshore during the day on Thursday, and then a comfortable day on Thursday afternoon, and it's comfortably warm still on Friday. And by the time we get to Saturday, we'll kind of start to build up with the heat and humidity again. Notice here, southwesterly flow of air starting to set up by the early part of the weekend, so certainly warmer, more humid on Saturday. Maybe another round of showers and thunderstorms over the upcoming weekend in the Midwest, in the Mid-Atlantic region, with the next in a series of cool frontal systems. So a brief hot day, a brief turn to hot conditions in the Mid-Atlantic region at midweek on Wednesday. Again, mid-90s in D.C., maybe low to mid-90s in Philly and New York City, just ahead of the next cool frontal system. So we touch a lot of bases here: the Arctic, the tropics, and the continental U.S. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.